Hi, have you ever seen a building such as this where the bricks at the bottom or at the grade level, there's a lot of effervescence and water damage, spalling of brick, and ask yourself, why does this happen? And it seems to creep upwards. And you can see in this commercial building behind me, this was a call that we got in recently. It has to do with 3 different owners, and they each had a different opinion as to how to do a fix for this and what they ultimately wanted to see. Once we understood that, we came up with a few solutions, and 2 buildings. One's going to be slightly different than the other, but this one here, we're going to attack the water damage bricks on the front for an aesthetic finish, and in the back and the sides, which I'm going to show and walk around all the deficiencies on this building here and what we have to deal with, coming up with permanent solutions to manage the water so that this building will maintain its exterior finish for decades and decades to come.
A&A Masonry, an award-winning company servicing the Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe.
Okay, this is the first part of this job. The issues that these property owners were having was in the entranceway. You can see there's massive amount of deterioration caused by a combination of salt, excessive salt, which is somewhat required on these properties because you don't want any kind of a liability issue, so you kind of tend to over salt it with companies that come in and just blow a bunch of salt on here. This brick veneer on top of this building is not designed for that. If it was built today, again, they would keep the brickwork about 8 inches off the ground. In this case, it's very close, and that erosion on the bottom bricks, that where it originally starts, tends to creep up. You're also seeing the moisture that gets held in that brickwork. It's causing a lot of effervescence, and again, you can just simply see the brickwork eroding away right in front of us here. When I initially got this call, the original or the first owner that I spoke to, he wanted something that was just going to last. They've obviously dealt with this before. I can see below, I can see brick replacement here. I can see some tuck pointing work here that is, if you want to call it that, this is typical on these type of buildings where we'll see this type of tuck point work, which is just filling in mortar joints and covering them up, and it's really not giving the same integrity that it was originally designed. So the first part was to initially cover this with SurGuard, in which case we would have to replace the bricks and do some tuck pointing work and then SurGuard it, seal the brickwork. But one of the owners wanted more of an aesthetic look, so we decided to go ahead and we're just going to replace all these bricks from the window sill down. On the sides and the back, we can use SurGuard to seal it, protect it from water erosion. You're going to see in a moment the different types of severe water erosion that they have on this building. But this will not only improve it with a new, nice, man-made, cultured stone, as we call it, from the window up, we're also going to keep it off the ground so it'll prevent this from reoccurring. So I'm going to take you around the back and the side and show you other areas where there's decay and erosion due to water. Now here we're getting around to the side, and this is going to be replaced. We're going to come up right to about 4 inches beyond the window with the stonework, and kind of it's a nice transition as it gets around the front and this curved front part of the building. I just want to bring your attention back to, again, eroding bricks, and you can see where the problem with water, it's just eroding the mortar joints. It's getting deep in there, and the accumulation of water and the freezing expansion is what causes it to overwhelm the brick and shatter it and spall and so on and so forth. It's also working down into the block foundation, which would originally had a parch. You can see it's parched over here, but it's exposed over there, and you can start to see the aggregate. So it's an issue that has to be dealt with. If not, it's just going to cost more money later on. It's going to be more of an issue. It's not going to go away. And you can also see very clearly here the white salts that are coming off the masonry, the brickwork, because it's oversaturated with water. And as the brick gets really overwhelmed with water, it wants to dry off, and it's pulling the salts with it. So if you see signs of effervescence in your block, even natural stone, brickwork, it's typically an indication, a sign that there's water on the other side or an excessive amount of water that's overwhelming the material. Okay, so here we are at the side and towards the back, and you can see just working around the property, water is just coming up against the side of the foundation. The reason the bricks are kind of appearing to kind of rise up is because the gradient of the side driveway here, roadway, is actually going down, so they build it up like this. But again, you can see the block work has to be protected. It's a preventative layer that's protecting the blockwork from erosion and water, but you can see it's been done once or twice before. And even here where it's all cracked, it's hollow, a quick little tap, and it just wants to come off and separate. So it's actually doing worse because now it's trapping water under there, it has nowhere to go. Again, you'll see effervescence and so forth, but you'll see, again, it's the separation, and it'll want to take more of the original cement blockwork with it. So one of the issues that we constantly have when I come in a call like this is to try to, if I'm trying to compete with pricing and things like that, it's usually not a job that I would take on, because I know if I'm going to put our name on it and I want it to last, we need the time to do the parging correctly. And when you're dealing with a lot of surface area, it financially really doesn't make sense. That's why we're so excited about SurGuard high build foundation coatings, because we can now address this and come in much more competitive ever before on these type of jobs, but also give these property owners a proper solution that's going to last for decades, which is really important on these commercial and rental units where they just want to have a fix and not a problem anymore. You know, that's going to be a reoccurring problem. In this case, and that was one of the original concerns of one of the property owners. That, and then the other was the aesthetic look. So the nice thing is with SurGuard, I can address both. I can do the nice aesthetic masonry work, which is where the labor and the money is going to go, and the SurGuard high build foundation coating will address all this. So we're going to clean this up with first washing it, prepping it, filling in some voids and holes, and try to mitigate some of the unevenness that we see here. But it's not as important aesthetically on the side of the wall as it is in the front, so we can seal it up with SurGuard and know that we'll never have to come back and address this issue again.
The first action of the crew was to take down the bricks in the front of the building to the window level, as Greg mentioned earlier. The demolition and disposal of the bricks on the surface of this building is quite extensive, as you can see. The crew have to grind out the bricks that need to be removed all the way down the lengthy front of the building, where they will be replaced by stone blocks and SurGuard on the foundation to protect the building, as well as give it a tremendous upgrade for a great appearance as well. Again, the grinding and breaking up of the bricks continues. You can see this is not a fast process, as the crew need to take the bricks out to an exact level where the stone will be installed. Here you can see the front of the building with the bricks now removed. The next action is to get on with the stone installation. The next crew comes in after the demolition to install the stone on the front of the building. As you can see, this is very precise work, and to install the stone also takes the time that it takes, as the wall is extremely long. The stone must be exactly measured and precisely cut to be put in the right place. This is very important for the structure as well as for the management of water. In order to get the stone fully installed with the window sills also in place, it will end up taking a couple of days for the crew to do it properly. Once the stone is fully installed, the SurGuard crew come in to take care of the foundation as well as any needed tuck pointing of the bricks as well. You can see here that the SurGuard coat on the foundation has a very complementary color to set off the stone. But also, as Greg has stated, this will also protect the foundation from water damage for a long time to come. You can see the work that the crew do to apply SurGuard to the foundation is not fast work, as it takes the time that it takes to get the SurGuard properly applied and absorbed into the concrete to make a bond that will protect it for the longevity that it provides. Also, as the foundation is very low, you can see the effort that the crew must take to get the SurGuard applied, crouching down in a low position to make sure it gets spread on properly. Again, this takes a good deal of time to apply it to the wall, as the building is quite long. You can see here, as we go around the side of the building to the back, the foundation where the parging has failed had to be filled up with hydraulic cement before SurGuard can be successfully applied to protect it. The crew are expert in the preparatory steps of the wall to ensure that it is properly set up for an application of SurGuard to properly adhere to it. And the same process occurs in the back of the building, with the foundation surface now much larger, as the loading docks are there as well. Again, the process consists of preparing the foundation with any needed hydraulic cement. As Greg mentioned, the SurGuard will protect this back area around the loading docks, and this area is focused for functionality and does not need the aesthetic appearance like the front area does. And here you can see the building with the SurGuard application along with the stonework fully installed. You can see the aesthetic appearance from the front of the building from the first rounded corner on down. A look at the doorways also shows a great appearance from the SurGuard protecting the lower foundation to the precisely laid stone rounding the corners perfectly. With the SurGuard protecting the foundation as well as the proper overhang of the stone to manage the water, this job is made to not deteriorate as the bricks that were here before did. The SurGuard on the sides and back of the building not only covered the foundation, but also covered a few courses of brickwork going up to ensure maximum water protection is intact. This is set up perfectly for this area, which will receive a lot of traffic with trucks coming in and out, but will stand up to the task handsomely. And here you can see from the front of the building with the work complete, giving a great appearance and protection that will last decades. Each job that A&A embarks upon has its own different circumstances and situations which require custom solutions to each job. As you can see from our videos, no two jobs are the same. In an industry where it has become all too commonplace to attempt to use cookie-cutter solutions or to attempt to cut corners on labor or materials for revenue and profit considerations, A&A has worked to stand out in the industry for the highest quality jobs done, as well as backing up their work with proper service policies and much more. So if you start to notice the deterioration of your masonry or the foundation of your home, make sure to call the professionals at A&A Masonry. One of their specialists will come and assess the situation for you and direct you to the top option to protect your home and keep it safe and secure and looking great for all the years to come. To schedule your next project, contact A&A Masonry today.